Welcome back to another episode of the Black Cinema Experience
Podcast.
podcast. I'm your girl, JB,
And I am Cameron.
and we're back with another exciting episode. This week, we dove into a movie called All Day and a Night.
And a night.
This movie features Ashton Sanders and
Jeffrey Wright.
and
And
Yaya.
Yaya Abdul Mateen.
Ooh,
The second.
Yaya. He is so fine
Candyman.
to me. Yeah, Candyman, better known as Candyman if you're into that genre. But I mean, this movie really has some great stars. It wasn't talked about at all. I mean, I hardly see advertising for movies anymore, anyways.
Ever.
But it wasn't talked about at all. And me and Cameron happened to stumble across it, and we have some thoughts and opinions about this movie. So, Cameron, with no further ado, tell me what you think about this film.
I thought this film was very interesting. The premise is about a young man who's made some horrible life decisions.
Okay.
But he's reflecting, about all the circumstances that in situations he went through in order to get to where he's at, which is incarcerated. So it's a pretty I feel like emotional roller coaster. It can be, to me, it's a tragic story.
Yeah.
But overall, like, it was really good acting. Really good, I guess you could say, cinematography. I like the way it was shot, but the message to me was a little, depressing.
Okay. Yeah. That's right. Just to recap everything that he just said, this is a stereotypical black film about a young black man in our prison system in America.
Growing up in the hood
with a drug addict father, and who knows what his mama was doing, but shit, apparently not raising him well. Okay? So, stereotypical black movies, you already know, is not something that I feel we really like. We want to see a different take on a stereotype. So, my first question to you is, do you think that this movie was a different take on the stereotype? Was it a story worth being told?
And that's where I feel like I have, like, the debate in my mind about it, because again, I'm all for black people telling their experience, because this is just one of the avenues for us to be able to express how we felt or what we've been through.
Right.
So I do get that, but with this movie, when it comes to like that genre of, like, hood classes with like Menace to Society or Boys from the Hood or just all these other movies,
Baby Boy. Don't forget Baby Boy.
We love Baby Boy. But like, when you think about these movies, you usually see like how these characters were striving for something better, like ultimately striving to get out of the hood. And in this movie, you kind of didn't get that, which I understand that might not be everybody's aspiration, but I guess my question is, why this story? Like, what was the point to just show?
Right.
Like, I mean, was it to show the struggle that some black men face? Well, technically, a lot of black men, because 1 in 3 black male adults have been incarcerated.
Not the facts.
So no, but I'm saying, so I mean, maybe it's trying to shed a light on that aspect, but I feel like we already know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty
I don't necessarily feel like there was any real legitimate intention behind this movie. That's my problem with it. I feel like, okay, so here he is. He's in the hood. He's got a point to make. So he takes on the job to kill somebody, and ultimately was set up by everybody in his life.
Yeah.
Essentially to go to jail forever, and then even to get murdered, which didn't happen, thankfully, in this movie. So again, I hope always that you have watched the movie before you tune into the conversation, because I'm giving out all the spoilers. You may not even want to watch the film after we talked about it. We could have just saved you 2 hours off your life by this 30 minutes right here.
So this is the official spoiler.
Okay,
this is the official
spoiler alert. Some bad shit happens, but yeah, I'm just not sure that this story was needed.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that black people are able to freely create whatever they want to create.
Of course.
But I would like for us to stop making trauma porn. I would like to see a little bit more stories with more depth and more meaning, love stories that were love without trauma, stories about black men and their ambition without it being like about making it in rap or basketball or football. Like, if we can just see some things that are different, and I'm just not seeing enough of that variation for this.
Yeah, I would love to see like our black entrepreneurs, and like, we know, like, I mean, drug dealers are technically entrepreneurs, but I'm talking about there are some men who get out there and really, you know, have their own businesses. You know, there are black men that really do become lawyers and do become police officers, like, you know. And I just feel like, why is it always a rapper? And again, again, I know that it's something that's part of like the culture. A lot of times we only see what we see on TV, so you want to be that. You know, you want to be an actor, you want to be a singer. And I'm not saying anything wrong with that. Obviously, somebody who wants to be, you know, an actor. But I still feel though that we do a disservice when we only show one-sided.
Yeah.
You know.
And I'm tired of hearing the same version of these stories, like different variations of it, but the same general core principle that, you know, this kid is trying to make out of the hood using this only one way out. And it wasn't even like, so he was making this music, but he wasn't really talking about bigger, better things. He wasn't talking about leaving the hood. But one thing that you did call out while we were watching this film is the introduction song. So in the beginning, he's kind of rap mumbling this song. Why I wish I would have kept the words on the screen. That could have made our lives really easy.
He said we ain't the same if we
killing niggas. We ain't the same if we killing niggas. So he says this line in the movie. Basically, it's a rap that he wrote. And you can hear from his tone that he's saying, like, I'm looking down on niggas that are killing niggas. Like, we not the same. But then he, you know, whatever. So that's the general point of his rap. So it foreshadows because he ends up killing niggas in the movie. And there's just like no good reason for it, you know? Like he didn't need to do what he did. Even if he did kill the bad guy. Did you have to kill the girl? Did you have to kill his woman? Did you have to make his daughter an orphan twice? Like, come on, my guy. I don't understand why we had to see this. He deserved to be in jail.
No, and I was saying that I don't want to sound like crazy, but I feel like, you know, it justifies that menace to society narrative.
Yeah.
You know, like, and again, I'm not saying that this isn't somebody's the truth. People have lived this, and this does go on. We know that, but I feel like when you're presenting media, especially mass media, especially on a platform like Netflix, you know, so many people watch. I feel like, why is that the only thing we're seeing? Especially, again, when I feel like we're not at this point yet where black people can say, like, you know, we've made it and we don't have to worry about how we're being perceived.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad, but I still feel like we are in a way in the era where we're still perceived a certain way. You know? So when you see that, you're like, okay. Again, yes, these things do happen, but it's just like, I don't want to see that. I know it happens.
We
like,
know the story.
I know this.
We don't need any more bad representation. We don't need to see any more making it out of the hood narratives. We don't need to see Jody being a trifling baby father and him breaking Yvette. You know what I mean? Like, essentially, because like they kept saying these words because it's Oakland. The setting of this is East Oakland, and it's very rough in this area. They are very big, you know. This is the hypey movement. This came from them. These people are wild. They ghost ride the whip. In one of the scenes, they're actually ghost riding.
I ain't gonna lie, a little fun.
The whip. No, it was pure chaos. I mean, the little race cars going around doing the donuts, pure chaos, but absolutely blackety, black, and I think incredibly accurate for Oakland. So they were very cinematic with that. I thought that there were some really cool scenes.
I do want to talk about is basically how black men are perceived, and how it brings us back to this whole like black men having to be hard. And then I know we talked about like soft black boy life, but I do want to talk about, like, you know, that whole masculinity or toxic masculinity in black men, as far as like when you have to come from the hood. For example, Jeffrey Wright, his father in this movie was you know, light skinned, and then his son was obviously dark skinned, so people were already making fun of him, kind of, or like already like, that's not his son, you know, that's not really his son.
Right.
So he's already has like that like pressure on him. And then
he said, I look like this. I look like this, but don't get it messed up.
Exactly. So he's already insecure, like, so showing like an insecure man.
Sorry, this is for white people. White people, light skin is not aggressive or scary. Dark skin is scary. So he's saying, like, I'm light skinned, like, don't get it fucked up though. That's what he's saying. Because people pretty boys usually are soft. Light-skinned boys. Okay, carry on. But that's just a stereotype in the black community.
Exactly. It's not true.
Okay?
We're not saying it's true. Okay? We do not agree with stereotypes. But I was saying, though, it plays into his, like, this whole aspect of toxic masculinity, because like emasculated men or like very fragile men or insecure men are the ones that always want to act tough or like have to have this persona to where now I have to be tough, So him portraying this character, which I feel like they did right into the movie, which I thought is very Black to put in the movie because I feel like like again, a lot of Caucasian people might not get that whole colorism issue within your own family.
Yep.
But
intercultural thing.
No, for real.
Yeah.
Like literally, and then on top of that, him trying to raise his son and trying to make his son not be a quote unquote punk. And so it was just crazy to see like all these different men and just different characters.
Yeah, awful toxic masculinity. Creating horrible habits and basically ruining a whole generation of men.
Yeah.
That's what I got from this movie, was that this boy's father was like, oh man, this kid will be better than I was. Even though I could try to be better, I just won't. He raises a kid who is doing exactly what his father did. And then that kid then plants a plant in the garden, and that's representative of like the next generation to come, like his son, like we're like, he's gonna be better. It's like, why do you guys all keep passing the buck? Why is no one actually stopping this horrible train and just doing the work?
Like, why can't you be better?
They're all still alive.
Exactly.
Like you guys didn't have to ruin your whole life and then say, I'll leave it to the next generation. Why? In this movie, I mean, honestly, like it's ratchet, but it's great. It's very Oaklandish, but for me, it's how he treats his baby mom.
Yeah,
it's how they demoralize women. It's how women are really only in this movie for like pleasure or for an assist. I mean, they mention it so much. Break a woman, break my woman. I break her. I'm a breaker.
Yeah,
break. And I'm like, when women say it, we talking about sex. When they say it, they're talking about your finances. These niggas are plotting.
But your mentality also. Like,
yeah. They want to make sure that they break. Yeah, you're right. But for me, the biggest thing in the world is finances.
Because that's gonna mess up the mental.
He said, my bitch breaks bread with me. Oh,
that's crazy.
So she's helping the homeless. Interesting.
Not charity work.
Charity
Giving
work.
to the needy.
And like that's a problem. I don't want to see that be normalized anymore. This perfectly beautiful woman who had a bad experience, basically settling for the ground level of standards just so she can have a guy. I don't want to see that. And I hate the fact that in this movie, they have that big blood argument. He calls her a hoe, never apologizes.
And she doesn't disrespect him.
And she, the whole time, even when he was just hurling insults at her, she was just saying how much she loved him. And I'm like, okay. And then when he comes back, he's like, everything's fine. We're good. Like, no apology. No, let me be better. Like, he literally was just becoming his father. Like, it was just a cycle repeating.
And maybe that's the point of the movie. Again, because
what was the point of the movie? Because what was the point of the movie?
And again, that goes to show that, like, like you can make a very interesting film and still, and I'll give you credit for that, and then, having back actors paid and stuff, but I still don't know what the story is.
I'm not sure. There are certain questions I have in this story where I'm like, okay, well, how did this relationship come about? Essentially, from what it looks like, because I still have gaps in my comprehension, his best friend TK ultimately said, TQ, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Said to himself, I'm a predator. He said to his best friend, I'm a predator. Like, and that was the foreshadowing that TK was going to, TQ was essentially going to stab him in the back. So my question is, was the whole movie about this best friendship betrayal? Was it all for us to see them grow up as kids, and for absolutely no good reason at all, he takes his best friend, gives him off to somebody, says, hey, he'll murder somebody for you, and then I can take care of that problem later. Yeah. Like, was this your plan? Why was this your plan? Was this the best plan you had?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I understand, like, the drug game and, like, or gangs in general is, like, a really ruthless, like, meaningless like organization, but again, with the whole idea that the dads were trying to make the sons better, and at one point TQ was trying to give him wisdom about why he was a predator and to make it seem like to put him on the right path. But it's like it's only about me. And then it was just like a whole people killing each other, and then everybody's in jail. And then hopefully his son, Jakor's son, the main character, Ashton Sanders' son, is going to be better in the future, even though his dad and his grandpa are both in jail for murder.
Yep. And as you said that, I started just thinking, it's almost like they took one of those movies like Don't Be a Menace, and just redid it in 2023 to the T. Mm-hmm. Like, cue the black man here with the struggle and a deadbeat parent, essentially. Cue the baby mama that comes in out of nowhere, another responsibility that he can't take care of. Cue him having one scene of making a little bit of effort getting a job at a store. You know what I mean? Like, and then cue him going back to his old ways before he gets locked up or worse. So it's literally just every hood story you've already heard. And I just think that in 2023, that black stories require a little bit more than, we have a black man here, his dad went to jail and he has a son on the way, and this ghetto love stories behind the scenes of it all. Also, are we just never going to address the temper tantrum that he had with his girl?
Yeah, no, we can.
When he stormed off?
No, we could definitely address that, because I think it was just so much going on. And before I go to that, I do want to say, I'm not appalled. Not appalled. I'm not opposed to there being like basic stories about black people. That's not my problem. My problem is that when you tell a story, you have to tell a story. You can't just put something on TV and be like, oh, black. So
yay. Yeah.
It's amazing.
We need a little bit more meat, a little more potatoes.
We're not going to do that.
We're not going
to do that. But when we talk about Jakor yelling at his baby mama, who's played by Shakira Pay, by the way.
Gorgeous. Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
A wonderful coming of age actress.
She's perfect. She's a model.
Huge things.
No, but seriously, like that whole scene obviously made me uncomfortable, because throughout the movie, like the way women were treated, as you can see, were, like you said, like either just sexual objects, because there are some provocative, not a lot of nudity, but provocative moments that happen with the characters between other women, and it's just like that was kind of like all they were, you know. And so but also just that whole argument was just obviously pointless, because the reason why they were arguing, because earlier Jakor's a rapper and he's trying to get one of these more famous rappers to listen to his mixtape, but this guy presents a video of him.
Can we pause? Male admiration is out of hand. No, he was really like, you can say anything and do anything to me, dog, because I'm trying to get like you. Yeah. This man is literally coming and basically shitting in his face every day and like smacking him with it every time. And he's like, man, I'm just trying to get you to,
listen to my mixtape.
What? Unless this movie is about like all the things wrong with our culture, I still think this is wrong. Okay.
no, but that goes into when that rapper shows him the video of his girlfriend eventually or having like a train ran on her or something like that. So, Jakor gets upset and then wants to go explode on her. But this was before she even met him. Obviously, they're all young, so we don't really know what the real situation is. She says she was walling out because her brother had died prior. Yep. Which, we know some people make decisions like that. But the whole fact was that it was a year before they even got together. Yep. And that he was coming here to call her a hoe. Even though he was getting head from another girl earlier in the movie that wasn't his baby mama. But we're not going to talk about, so it's just like the double standards.
She said, I know you've been cheating on me. Think about this. Think about this. She said, I know you've been cheating on me. He said, if I did, it's because I knew I couldn't trust your ass. Hold up.
I'm not laughing at this. I'm laughing because of the audacity.
The fact that she knew that you was cheating and she didn't bring it to your door, this woman really loves you. She should have brought that to your door. Like, I know you was cheating on me, XYZ. But secondly, you were cheating on her with the neighborhood bop around. Everybody done did it. You done did it too. But your girl's a hoe? Yes. Every nigga that was standing there with him when he left the neighborhood bop's house had already been with the neighborhood bop. They made that very, very clear. Yes. But your girl's the hoe? Because she had a train and there's a video. Like the whole him stomping over there and disrespecting her, then never apologizing and coming back. And then
when he kills somebody and then she's helping him.
Of course, she's helping him. Yeah. The evidence. Yeah. literally, I mean, I don't need to see more black films about black women holding down black men who don't deserve it. Even his mom coming to the jail saying to him, like, I know this is my fault because of how I raised you, but it's not all my fault.
Yeah.
It's like, black women, stop falling at their feet. He had opportunity after opportunity to be better. Her boyfriend coming to bail him out of jail.
Bail him out, and he smashes his car and disrespects him because he's prideful, because he knew his mom but didn't know him. And again, I understand, because there is like a lot of like a lot of rage, like misdirected anger that black boys have. But again, when you put this in a film, how do you portray that to push a message that's going to help in this? You know, I feel like when we watch movies about trauma, usually it's like the point was he got out of the hood and became a good father. It's like ding ding ding, yay! You know, that was the point of this, all this trauma. So for me to see, like, to get left with this trauma of like this man just being left in jail and just reflecting over his horrible life, and he's in a crappy situation. My thing is, okay, maybe he's in jail, but when you're in jail for life, I mean,
life in prison, another fatherless child. Yeah. Like, what are we really promoting here with this movie? There was no turning block. There was, and it's not. I'm not saying every movie needs to end on a high note, but I'm saying, what was the point of this movie? To tell us to not kill people? Because we know that. What was the point of this movie? Where was the growth? I mean, for me, I didn't see really any character growth for him. I mean, he killed 2 people by the end of it, right? He killed his best friend too. And what was his best friend?
And he didn't even have any type of sentimental or like any type of connection to you having to murder your best friend, the person you were robbing people with, the person that you were like hitting the town with, the person that you were going to rob another girl with. You called him to pick you up so y'all can go rob the girl together because they're supposed to be the number one, and you just killed him. Like,
no thoughts, no nothing.
But then I'm supposed to believe that you're gonna, you know, you're gonna be a good father for your son from jail, and then you're trying to build and make amends with your father.
Okay, come on. So it doesn't make sense to anybody. Like, come on.
Yeah.
What? This is like a movie saying like black men have to make hard choices. It's almost like a black man who's like, I'm gonna make bad choices and I'm gonna do it knowingly. But it's like, I'm gonna make this movie and like I'm gonna put it out there and support all the black men out here just making wrong choices. Like, I don't understand why we're perpetuating this narrative for black people. I am cinematically pleased with how it looked, and I must say that the acting was top tier.
Yeah, like
top tier.
I would
Ashton Saunders, top tier. Yeah. Shakira Pay,
Isaiah,
top tier. Isaiah John, top tier.
Like,
these people were acting. Yaya Bay, top tier. These people were really good at their roles. I was convinced that they were whoever they said they were.
Absolutely that. Which again, I mean, it goes to show that like you can have, you know, not a great message, but still have like, you know, a really good movie as far as acting and cinematography, because it was beautifully shot.
It was interesting to watch.
Shots. Exactly. Again, there was drama, unlike the actors did what they were supposed to do, but again, the overall message to me was just lacking, and I feel like that's the most important thing when it comes to black cinema.
Yeah.
Again, not that you have to necessarily prove anything to anybody else, but for us, we want to see us doing well. We want to see us in the future, like, you know what I'm saying, not just the future, but we want to see ourselves with the capacity that we know we have, like, at the top. So like when we see stuff like this, again, like things that can probably hit close to home for a lot of people, it's like, why would I go to the movies and pay to see that?
Right. Like,
that's when I know what this is.
The problem is there's no hope in it. Like, there's no hope that the character can get better. Like, everything you said is accurate. Like, this man's in here fighting for his life. He's murdering people even in jail. Like, you're not about to be a great role model for your father, for your son, and your father wasn't a good role model for you. So this kid is out there fatherless now, and this is where is the hope and redemption? I guess I don't know. I just didn't care for that. I don't care for seeing that story anymore. I don't care about seeing that. I want to see them do something where we actually like move forward as a people, like that there's some progress that's done. Like, maybe he was put into a position where he had to help. I mean, had to murder somebody and then went to jail for it, but, you know, still had some family members looking out. Like, something. Give us some type of sense of community. Give us some lesson that's actually going to better off somebody. I just feel like this is a story of trauma. Here's just another man in jail story. We put it into movie form. You know what I mean? Like, that's not.
But then it's not. Again, if this was like a documentary or like it was actually like somebody's actual life, then you're like, okay, this was, A-Rod's story, from up the block.
And because then we can ask A-Rod why he wanted to do those things. Exactly. I'm still unclear on motivation.
Yeah.
I'm still unclear on motivation.
Absolutely.
He called around looking for jobs. He got a job. What are you killing people for?
Why are you still robbing?
Why did you have to do that? I'm unclear.
Yeah. Same.
Everything that he was doing, I'm unclear. It just thumbs down on the story.
But I do want to talk more about the women in the role because again, you actually brought that to my attention because I feel like there were 3 major women, I guess you could say. I mean, well, there are 4 that are featured that we can go through, but 3 major. Jacor's mom, and then we have his baby mama.
Okay.
And then we have, was it Big Stunner's?
Yes, Stunner's wife.
Wife or girlfriend?
It was his wife.
His wife.
Yeah, he mentioned that he was married more than once.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
when he was he was yelling at the girl with the fat booty. He was like, "You lucky I'm married. Come follow me on Instagram." That's what he said. I was like, "Oh wow."
No, but well, again, I think we got 2. When we talked about like his mom, like being an enabler. I mean, enabler, but I mean, she at the end of the day, she's doing the best she can do. His dad was a drug addict. She over trying to hold down bills and make sure her son's trying to stay out of trouble because he keeps going to jail. Too. So she only can do so much. We have Jacor's baby mama, and then which I thought was a pretty strong character, Big Stunner's wife, because she was right there in the decision making with him.
Yeah.
The whole
Big Stunner's wife was an asset.
Yeah.
She carried the guns. She cleaned the guns. She was there.
Asking questions.
She knew where the girls was at. Yeah. Oh yeah, he go to his baby mama house. She was an asset, 100%. And obviously breaking bread, right? It's all business. So he was getting money with her. And then you have the mom. Now the mom really didn't. She didn't serve too much of a purpose to me.
I think she did her job on that scene when she was crying. When she went to visit him while when he got life in prison.
On the phones, yeah.
She was trying to get that.
No, she did serve that.
That Oscar nod.
She did serve that. She said, "Pick up the phone, job.
For real.
Pick up the phone." She was good.
Yeah,
she was good, but yeah, but you didn't learn anything about her or him through their relationship. Like all you saw was that she didn't have control over him essentially, but we didn't learn anything about like, was she nice to him, good to him, nothing. We just saw the dad was really kind of abusive towards him.
And dad was abusive kind of towards the mom when he was like yelling in her face.
Yeah, he was abusive towards her for sure. Yeah. So we're seeing essentially another woman in this story that's being abused or being treated poorly by men all around her, and that's normal.
Oh, but the grandma briefly was like the light at the end of the tunnel. She kind of came in at one point. It was like, Jacor loves to go to church, and the dad was like, "No, none of that means anything." For like that one scene, remember the grandma was supposed to be like the guiding light when she died.
That was the grandma's moment, huh? That was the woman's moment. So like, there's that woman, okay, and then obviously the girl that started the film off giving them head.
But the reason I brought it up is because, like you said, like women have such a small part of this movie, which is kind of like usually the problem.
Yeah.
With these films, because again, not to make everything like, oh, everything's about the patriarchy, but we're gonna call it out. like seriously, like these films, like so, like there's never like the woman's presence from like what's going on. So I do want to see like a woman's perspective on like what it's like growing up in the hood, because we do see so many.
You're not wrong. Seeing a woman's perspective would be way more interesting because we're always seeing men, and I don't want to see the girl that's just like tough, just badass. I want to see a girl who like is from the hood but is a product of her environment type thing. I don't want to see more tough girls in these movies. I want to see regular girls that grow up in the hood and just are aware of these surroundings, and maybe they have that like I kick ass, I get money type attitude, but still, I'm tired of seeing the same little like, we're black men and we rob each other and we like that's, even to see TQ pistol whip that dude at the car. I was like, this is violent, and I don't want to keep perpetuating this. This is not normal in our communities. Don't show it in movies. I don't want that to be normal in my neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Well, it just saddens me because like not necessarily just this movie, but these are the movies that like can. I guess you could say all gang movies are, but I feel like for a lot of times, like for black men, like these are our masculine movies. Like these are the movies where you see a tough guy, and like I guess that's the most masculine thing we can do, because literally, like we see all these movies, like most of them have to do with gang members. Like you think about Snowfall, you think about Power, you think about all of our shows that we love. It's all about criminals.
Yeah.
And black people, a majority of us are not criminals. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why do we keep getting these, shows where black people are criminals, and then those are like our hits, those are number ones. Yeah. You know? But like when we gonna get our Black Ted Lasso? Because there's so many out there, Like,
I mean, and you know what? Like, and they don't. Our Black Ted Lassos are like the shows, the sitcoms with like Cedric the Entertainer. Yeah, that's as like close as we've gotten to a Black Ted Lasso. Like, and I think that that's disappointing too. Like, we have so much talent to pull from that we could have so many different variations of Black stories without that typical air of here's some drugs, here's some crime, here's the hood. Like, what? A lot of us are suburban, but like I'm not gonna get into it with that. I just want to see something else. Like, honestly, I thought that the film was interesting to watch, cinematically beautiful, and I did like certain scenes. There were moments that I really, really enjoyed. But I have a list of things that I hate. Okay? It's showing us black men that can't communicate, because our main character, Ashton Saunders, his character essentially just couldn't communicate for himself, couldn't speak up, couldn't say anything. I mean, there were so many moments where, and he plays these roles so well, and I'm sure he's not like this in person, because he plays them so well. He's like, I'm like awkward. I don't want to say nothing. I don't know what to say. You know what I mean? But he definitely gave us all the vibes of a confused, essentially, black guy trying to figure it out, angry at the world, angry at whoever he can be angry at, that he has more power than. He's also still, again, back with a whole male like love view of like, oh, this guy can do something for me, and now I have, I got to do whatever he says so I can be on his good graces, even though he's disrespecting me. Like, he's such a reflection of the problems with today's society, like as a character. So I can't help but to think that this movie is poking fun at all the problems with the males of today's society. Like, it has to be something like that. It has to be. The ease of him calling that girl's baby mama, like the ease of him saying, don't ever bring my son up here to visit me. Like, just the ease of everything. Maybe he's just poking fun at our generation. I don't know. I don't know.
But I mean, I think it was an ambitious swing. Again, I think it was a really, really good cast. So I feel like they got some things right as far as the ingredients you need to make a movie, but maybe like just the way they were trying to cook it didn't.
Yeah, it was undercooked. What would you have done to make this story better?
Make this story better? I feel like something I would have done is really, like you said, dive deep into, first of all, why he, like, to what he was really feeling. Like, I know they kind of did like a kind of like some narration, but I feel like it was so spread, like so